Welcome to the Chop Seat, where Braves country meets the big leagues. Your host Vic is here to break down everything from truest part to the top of the standings across the league. From walk-offs to wild trades, this is your seat for everything baseball, but a heavy dose of chop. So grab your glove and settle in, because the Chop Seat is open.
Welcome to the Chop Seat, your favorite place for Braves, baseball, and the rest of the league. I'm your host, Vic, and today is Monday, October 13th. We're going to talk about the action from the weekend. We had 2 Game 5s. We had Game 1 of the ALCS. We're going to catch up with what happened in those games. We don't have too much going on in Braves front, so we're not going to do our Tomahawk Take segment today. We're only going to have our MLB segment. So without further ado, let's head into our first and only segment of today's episode.
It's time for the MLB.
Welcome to the MLB, where we take a look at the action from around the league. And this segment of MLB is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSY20 to get $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. You want to go catch Game 1 of the National League Championship Series tonight? Go to SeatGeek, put in code CHOPSY20. You're going to save $20 off your first purchase. You want to go save money on the rest of the ALCS and the rest of the NLCS? Why not? Well, catch one of those games. Use code CHOPSY20 to save $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. And if you're not into baseball, go catch a show, go catch a concert, go catch any other sporting event on SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSY20 and you're going to save $20 off your first purchase. So I was saying in the opening of this episode, we had 2 Game 5s. One of them ended in regulation. It took 9 innings. But the other game took 15 innings. It was an all-out battle to clinch the final spot in the American League Championship Series. That was a game between the Detroit Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. Game 5 up in Seattle, T-Mobile Park, a classic ball game. Seattle ends up winning this ball game 3-2. They advance to the the American League Championship Series. It takes 15 innings. Like I said, it took 4 hours and 58 minutes for this game to conclude. These are some funky stats from this ball game. 472 total pitches, 15 pitchers used, only 5 runs. You would have thought there were more runs scored being 15-inning ball game, but it was only 5 runs scored, 22 runners left on base, and 4 intentional walks. Some funky stats from that ball game. Starting for the Detroit Tigers, it was Tarek Skubal on the mound. Their ace, he goes 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, 13 strikeouts. Phenomenal performance from him. George Kirby was also pretty solid. 5 innings from him, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, 6 strikeouts. In the bottom of the second, to get the scoring started, it was Mitch Garver who hits a sac fly out to center field. Josh Lingler scores in that one. It makes it 1-0 Seattle. Top of the 6th. It was quiet until the top of the 6th. Javi Baez, he hits a leadoff double, and then Kerry Carpenter comes up and hits a carry bomb, a homer. That gives Detroit the lead 2-1. Bottom of the 7th, looking to tie up the ball game with runners on first and second. Leo Rivas, he comes in to pinch hit. He comes through with an RBI single that ties up the ball game 2-2, and that's where we stay until the bottom of the 15th. No scoring from the bottom of the 7th until the bottom of the 15th inning. Both teams had multiple chances to score in various innings, but they did not score again until the bottom of the 15th inning. The bottom of the 10th inning, Victor Robles, he leads off with a double. Mariners can't bring him in. Top of the 11th, the Tigers, they get runners on first and second with 2 outs. They can't cash that lead runner in as well. Top of the 12th, second and third, 1 out. Javi Baez, he hits a tap to third baseman. Eugenio Suarez, he throws home. Kyle Radley is gunned out. That eliminates a threat for the moment. But then the bases are then loaded to face Gleyber Torres. He ends up flying out to right field. That threat is completely neutralized. They go to the bottom of the 12th. First and second, 1 out for Randy Rosarena, but he ends up grounding into a double play. Inning over. Bottom of the 13th, runners on first and second, 1 out. Eugenio Suarez, Gino, he grounds into a double play as well. Inning over there. Top of the 14th, it's a lead off double for Dylan Dingler. But after that, the Tigers go down in order. and the ball game still remains tied at 2. Here we go, bottom of the 15th. J.B. Crawford, he gets a leadoff single off of Tommy Kahnle. Randy Arozarena is then hit by a pitch that makes it first and second with no outs. Kyle Bradley, he lines out to center field. J.B. Crawford hits to third. It was a throwing error there from the outfield. Julio Rodriguez is then intentionally walked. That loads up the bases for Jorge Polanco. Full count, bases loaded. This is what every kid dreams of. Again, full count, bases loaded. The pitch to Jorge Polanco. He rips a line drive to right field. That's the end of the ball game. Ball game over. 15-inning duel ends in a 3-2 win for the Seattle Mariners. That sends the Mariners to the ALCS for the first time in 24 years. An all-out classic. Listen, shout out to all those relievers, man. All those relievers that came in, and held the game at bay, man. I can't even speak. It was just crazy ball game. I was a little upset. I had to work the next day, and I was trying to watch the entire game. I only watched up to the bottom of the 13th. After that, I had to clock out, which kind of sucked because I have this mentality where I start a ball game, I gotta finish the ball game because there's no point in watching the whole thing. Watching half of the game. I was already committed. I really wanted to watch the entire ball game. But listen, duty calls. I said, I gotta be responsible. I gotta go to sleep. And it did suck, but I was able to watch the highlights. And it was an awesome game. Awesome game. That's what you want to see a decisive game go down to. 15 innings. Shout out to the fans for staying out there. The fans were rocking. It was just an awesome environment. But again, shout out to all those relievers that came in and held it down, man. They held it down for the Tigers. It was Tarek Skubal, Kyle Finnegan, Holton, Will Best, Troy Moulton, Cater Montero, Jack Flaherty, and Tommy Kahnle. He unfortunately takes the L on this ball game. And for the Mariners, it was George Kirby, Gabe Spear, Matt Brash, Andrus Munoz, Logan Gilbert, Bazardo, Luis Castillo coming in at the end. He pitched an inning at third. He ends up getting the W in this ball game. Congratulations to the Seattle Mariners for moving on, punching their ticket to the American League Championship Series. And congrats to the Tigers, man. They had a bad collapse at the end of the regular season, but they were still able to get past the Guardians in the first round, and then face the Mariners here. They got far, but not far enough. But congrats to them on a good season as well. And listen, the Seattle Mariners, they already faced their opponent, the Toronto Blue Jays, in Game 1. We're going to get into that shortly, Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. But before we get into that, we're going to look at the Game 5 of the National League Division Series. That was against that was between the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers out in Milwaukee. It was an opener, a bullpen game pretty much for both teams. Drew Pomeranz took the first inning for the Chicago Cubs. He went 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 strikeout, 1 homer allowed. Colin Rea came in. He got the most of the work between all the Cubs pitchers. He goes 2 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 2 Ks, 1 homer allowed as well. He takes the L in this ball game. For the Brewers, it was Trevor McGill opening the first inning, 1 hit. 1 inning, no hits, no runs, 1 strikeout. Jacob Mizorowski, the Miz, he gets the bulk of the work for the Brewers. He goes 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. That was earned, 3 Ks and 1 home run allowed. Bottom of the first, Braves legend William Contreras, he hits a solo shot that gives Milwaukee the early 1-0 lead in the ballgame. But in the top of the second, the Cubs, they answer right back. Seiya Suzuki, he says, see you later. Ties it up with a solo shot of his own, 1-1 ball game. Bottom of the fourth, Andrew Vaughn, he hits a homer out to left field. That makes it 2-1 Milwaukee. Top of the sixth, Chicago, with runners on first and second with no outs. Little opportunity there for them, but Chad Patrick comes in after they record 1 out. Chad Patrick comes in for Aaron Ashman. He records the final 2 outs of the inning. Threat over, threat neutralized. We go back down to the bottom of the 7th. This is where Bryce Terang, he hits a homer. A little insurance run out there for the Milwaukee Brewers. That makes it 3-1. Milwaukee, top of the 8th. The closer, Abner Uribe, he comes in. He gets the final 6 outs. He gets the 6-out save. That's a 3-1 victory for Milwaukee, and Milwaukee punches their ticket to the National League Championship Series, where they'll be facing the Los Angeles Dodgers. Listen, Uribe, he does the call my Jack Selly, hangs it up. He was feeling it. The Brewers are on the field celebrating. Again, they punched their tickets to the National League Championship Series, where they'll be facing the Los Angeles Dodgers. So that is how that series goes down. The brackets are looking as follows. Brackets. All we have is the Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League. And we have the Milwaukee Brewers and the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League side of the bracket. So that is how things went down for those 2 Game 5s that we had. One on Friday, one on Saturday. And of course, Game 1 of the American League Championship Series was on Sunday, yesterday night, It was at 8 o'clock Eastern time, start time. Some roster moves before we get into the action from Game 1 of the ALCS. It was Brian Wu. He came into the roster. Ben Williamson was taken out of the roster. Luke Raley also taken out of the roster. It was Master Boney. He was joined the squad in the ALCS roster. And then for the Toronto Blue Jays, it was Chris Bassett and Max Scherzer being added to the American League Championship Series roster. Tommy Nance and Justin Brewer were taken out in those corresponding moves. And still no Bo Bichette for the Toronto Blue Jays. You know, they've been doing good. They've been cooking without this guy. But imagine if they had this guy in the lineup. We know he's a very good hitter. Obviously not the best when it comes to defense, but still, that's another solid bat that they're missing. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite them, but he's still out with that left knee sprain. But anyways, let's get into the action from Game 1 yesterday night. On the mound for the Mariners, it was Bryce Miller. He goes 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. That was earned, 3 walks, 3 Ks. He gave up a homer. Going up against Kevin Gausman, who went 5 2/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 1 walk, 5 Ks. He also gave up a homer in this ballgame. Bottom of the first, George Springer gets the starter for the Toronto Blue Jays. He hits a leadoff homer out to right field. That makes it 1-0 Toronto. Good start from them. It was all quiet until we got to the 6th inning. Top of the 6th, Kyle Raleigh, big thumper. He hits a homer, 420 feet out to right center field. That ties the ball game. That makes it 1-1. But Julio Rodriguez, J-Rod on second, the man of the hour, the hero for the Mariners. Jorge Polanco, he hits a single out to left field. J-Rod scores in that one. That makes it 2-1 Seattle. They take the lead in the top of the 6th. And then the top of the 8th, he's back, man. But runs on first and third this time. Guess who? Georgie Polanco with another RBI single. That's an insurance run. That makes it 3-1 Seattle. In the bottom of the 9th, Andres Munoz. He comes in. He gets the 1-2-3 inning. He collects the save. Seattle, they steal Game 1 on the road. They lead the American League Championship Series 1-0 at this moment. Game 2, I believe it just got on their way. Game 2 just got on their way tonight. Well, today, this evening, it was a 5:03 p.m. Eastern start time. It's about 5:25 over here right now. So that game's already on their way. It was started by Logan Gilbert for the Seattle Mariners. And Trey Savage is going to be starting that one for the Toronto Blue Jays. And listen, let's look to see if there's any scoring so far. We're going to check it out. Wow. It's a 3-1 lead for the Mariners in the bottom of the first. Let's see how those runs came in. It was Julio Rodriguez, a 3-run homer for the Mariners. 3-1 lead for them. Looks like the Blue Jays were able to get one back here. Let's see how they got that one back. But this is how the first inning went for the Seattle Mariners. Randy Rosarena, he was hit by a pitch. Kyle Raleigh draws a walk, and then J-Rod, he hits a homer out to left field. Makes it 3-0 Toronto. 3-0 Seattle. And then on the bottom of the first, George Springer, he has a leadoff double on a sharp fly ball out to left field. And then Nathan Lukes, he reaches him on throwing error by first baseman Josh Naylor. George Springer scores in that one. Nathan Lukes advances to second. It looks like Vladdy Jr. just grounded out to shortstop J.P. Crawford, and Nathan Lukes is able to move to third base. So right now it's 3-1. Bottom of the first, runner on third for the Blue Jays with 1 out. Addison Barker up to the plate, so they might be able to score another one in here and make it 3-2. We'll see. We'll keep you guys posted here on this one. Live podcasting at its finest. But that is how Game 1 goes down in the ALCS. This is how Game 2 is going down right now. And listen, remember, I had the Blue Jays going to the World Series from a long time ago now. So I got to stick with the Blue Jays. I'm going Blue Jays in 6. Obviously, losing Game 1 kind of throws a little wrench in the plans for my Toronto Blue Jays. But we'll see if they're able to still win this series in 6. The Chopsy goes 4-for-4 in the DS round. I had Toronto in 4 over the Yankees. That went down. The Dodgers in 5 over the Phillies. Dodgers win in 4. I had the Brewers over the Cubs in 4. That takes 5. Brewers still win, but it took 5 games now. And then I had the Seattle Mariners over the Detroit Tigers in 4. Seattle's able to do it in 5. So still, the Chopsy goes 4-for-4. We're going to see if the Chopsy can keep the streak going here in the Championship Series round. So again, let me just say it now. I got the Toronto Blue Jays in 6. And then I have the National League is tough. You got the best team in the Brewers all season long, but I just feel like the Dodgers, they're just going to turn up. I'm going to say Dodgers in 7. Honestly, at heart, I want the Brewers to win. So if the Brewers win, I wouldn't be upset. I want the Brewers to win this series. But I am going to go with Dodgers. If I had to pick one, I'm going to go with the Dodgers. Dodgers in 7. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Let me know in the comments. Who do you think is winning both series? Do you think the Toronto Blue Jays are going to win the American League Series, Championship Series, or the Seattle Mariners, or the Los Angeles Dodgers over the Milwaukee Brewers? Who do you think is winning that series? Anyways, let's go preview Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. That's going to be tonight. It's going to be Blake Snell on the mound going up against Aaron Ashby. I'm assuming he's going to go just open up that ball game. I'm not going to go too far into that start. That's going to be tonight, 8:08 p.m. Eastern start time on TBS. Make sure you tune into that. And then Tuesday, Game 2 is going to be Yoshinobu Yamamoto against Freddie Peralta. That's going to be, let me look at the start time for that real quick. It should be at 8 o'clock Eastern as well. It's only going to be one game tomorrow on the schedule. So it is, yes, 8:08 p.m. Eastern start time. That's going to be on TBS as well tomorrow. Game 3, we do have the probable starters for that. Game 3 for the American League Championship Series. That's going to be Shane Bieber going up against George Kirby. So let's see if the Mariners are going to be heading home with a 2-0 lead in the series, or if it's going to be tied up at 1. But that is all I have, guys. I believe that's all I have for the MLB segment here. Of course, it's going to be another exciting round of playoff baseball, postseason baseball. Never ceases to amaze us. A lot of crazy moments in the playoffs, and it looks like the Blue Jays were able to plate one more run, so it's 3-2. Seattle going up into the top of the second. It looks like it was a Alejandro Kirk RBI single that drove in Nathan Lukes, and then the inning ended. I don't know how the inning ended. I can't see yet. But yeah, it's a 3-2 ball game. Game 2 of the American League Championship Series going up into the top of the second inning. So that's all I have, guys. Let me turn this techno beat off. Beat's so fire, man. Anyways, that is all we have for this episode of the Chopsy. That's all we have for that segment of the MLB. Again, I'm still looking at the game day. I don't know why it's taking a little bit to update, but it's looking like it's 3-2 heading into the top of the first. That's what it's looking like. 3-2 heading into the top of the first. Top of the second, with Seattle still leading this ball game. So thank you guys. We're going to catch up later on in the week It's probably going to be on Thursday or Friday. Most likely Friday, actually. It's going to be Friday for sure. Not going to be Thursday. I got some other things going on. But Friday we'll be able to catch up, see where these series stand. Both of these series stand, and see how we're looking. If anyone is getting closer to punching a ticket to the World Series, of course someone's going to be getting closer. We just got to wait and see who it's going to be. We got, and here it goes. Dalton Varsho was the one that lined out to right field after the Alejandro Kirk RBI single. So, yeah, now we're going into the top of the second inning in that ball game. So make sure to keep an eye on that ball game. Make sure to keep an eye on Game 1 of the National League Championship Series tonight. Again, that's going to be at 8:08 p.m. Eastern start time on TBS. And then Game 2 for that same series, 8:08 p.m. Eastern start time as well. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Chop Seat. We're going to keep you updated with everything baseball. We got some more player news, more updates. I think I saw, we're not going to get into it, but I saw something with Pete Alonso wanting a 7-year deal. We'll talk about all that once the World Series is over. But again, thank you guys for tuning into the Chop Seat. And we will see you next time, of course, on the Chop Seat.